Today, I'm going to show you how to make the classic island woolly bass, and it sounds like this. Alrighty, so as you guys heard, I'm going to teach you guys how to make the classic woolly bass. But a few things get out of the way. If you do learn something from this video, please leave a thumbs up and feel free to subscribe. We're almost at 3,000 subscribers, which is my goal for the end of the year, and I think we're going to crush that. To start, we're going to get into the Serum Patch itself. And we're going to start out with a very simplistic patch, but it's very effective, and there's so many things Wooli does well. I even learned a lot going back and watching these. I'm really excited to share with you guys. So he generally does all of his LFO work on one LFO. Now, as we can see, we're using this wavetable. This wavetable is the most important part. It's called Body Shell. Body Shell is from a pack by Cymatics, Jaws Wavetables, and it's right there. It's around $10. The reason I may know this because I just had to get it once I figured it out. That will get you Body Shell. He then is using FM into a basic shape, and his basic shape is going to be a triangle. We have our sine, our saw, and a triangle. And this is very important. He also makes his basses in F0 for Ableton. I'm not sure how this translates to FL because I know you guys are scaled differently, but he makes it in F0 rather than F1 and turning down your octave, which honestly, people do it either way. This is just how he did it, or I've watched him make his basses. So we have LFO1 going on the level. We have FM from B sitting steadily here around 32%, and then we just add a little bit more with our LFO1, and we're moving the wavetable here. We also have a sub going direct out, which doesn't do much here right now because our EQ. And then we're getting FM from this octave 3 triangle wave. Now this triangle wave is super important. Uses bend here, which bend plus minus does a lot. So here's the first one. If I pull it away, so we're at 37. It adds a lot of characteristic. It's super important. It is one of the secret sauces. Next we have the high notch, the classic Dubstep filter. He has it going bi-directional here. Facing around the cutoff and just going a little past noon there, and you can see the frequencies coming back, going up. So it's not quite fully overlapping as we watch. And that's really it for this front part. Next part to note as well, and we're going to keep our random down here. I'm going to start with Wooli does all of his basses by turning down his width in the first category because he doesn't want any stereo, because he does a lot of stereo work. So if we already started with something stereo, it would have a lot of issues with mono compatibility. Next is the FX. I just guessed based on what he's processed his other bass with, and that is going to be the hyper. We're adding a little our hyper here, which is a little voicing. So without it, with it, adds a little more of the tone. We have tube. He loves doing the LFO to his tube distortion. Doesn't like it have it all the way up the whole time. Wants it to go with the bass so it grows and gets louder amplitude wise. The EQ is very important. We're kind of doing what the high notch does, but without it, it sounds like this. With it, obviously it gives a lot of tone to it. We're going into a OTT compressor here. And then delay. Delay is very interesting. He likes to automate his feedback and mix level, and then he usually turns off his BPM link to have almost like a tonal delay, and he's going to have like a tonal delay throw. So that's without the delay. With it, adds his stereo width, and he does like to keep it on link from what I know. Other than that, we have a second LFO. The second LFO is actually the magic to the tone, and he does this by putting his LFO2 to his master tune, and then I have it macroed, but he likes to, we'll keep it at 9, but one thing he likes to do is use semitones when he's typing these in, which say we want to go an octave, we'll go 12 ST, which is 1 octave. It's, 12 semitones, 1 octave. That's what I had, and this ramp's very important. If we take this away, listen to it now. It has a very flat feeling as soon as we bring it back. It gives that peak up. And he stated this on a stream that this is what takes the most time. The master tune, he'll get a patch where he likes, and then the master tune to get it kind of formulated how he wants. He'll keep it on off, and he'll even turn down the rate slow to like a bar or 2 bars, so we can have like a boom, whom, whum. Like all of his movements going to be within Serum himself. I think that's really genius. I'm probably gonna make another video on the effectiveness of that. Other than that, we have our octave up, down, 12, and we can see that I do use it quite a bit. That pitch bend. We did it the other way. And then I have my FM from B, which goes here. We're just automating just a tad bit more if we want, so we can make it go up. I think that's kind of the perfect spot. And then our LFO rate obviously is going to be going from a quarter note to 8th note here, which is why we have that fast downbeat. And then obviously our quarter beat. And that's really it for the patch that I can think of. Nothing else, which leads us to our post-processing. I have a utility pulling down the width because it's still pretty wide. We have OTT. I think in one stream he talked about how he liked using OTT. And then I know he uses a VR fat rack, so I put the VR fat rack on it. Glue compressor, just messing with the threshold makeup a little bit. He has Oxford inflator, which I just got for this video. By the way, if you want to know, Oxford inflator is on sale for Black Friday. It's only like 40 bucks. Really good deal. I don't know really how much to use it, but I saw him have this on one of his other basses in the same project, so I kind of just assumed maybe he put it on. Total guess here. It's just speculative what I'm going off of. Yo Man, because Wooli put Yo Man on the map. In the dry wet feedback, we can see he has a lot of throws with Yo Man. It helps add space. It's kind of like Company's Valhalla Reverb throw. And feedback he plays with as well, so you hear that metallicness when I'm pretty much putting it up to 100. We have Trash, which is just add muscle, and the reason he said he puts it on his bass group is because Company told him to at the time, so just a little bit oomph while that's there. So I took Trash and Inflator. Don't do a lot, honestly. Like if I take these away, we have Washout, which is just the reverb throw. Lastly, we have a wider, which I'm using instead of his Ozone Imager. He uses Ozone Imager to keep everything collapsed, and he builds a stereo how he wants, but a lot of people don't have Ozone Imager, so I just use wider. It's free. And then we have EQ, just carving out certain spots, which without it, it sounds like this. And then saturator to soft clip and turn it up at the end, which we have under our drive right here. That is how you make the Wooli Island bass. Like I said earlier, if it did help you to learn anything, comment down below what you learned. If you liked the video, leave a like and subscribe if you're new here. I'm going to drop this rack down below for y'all, so you can get the rack for free. So anyways, I hope you guys have a wonderful day. I hope you learned a lot. I'll talk to you in the next one. Double kill.